10 years of Liberals, food prices have skyrocketed 40%. This Prime Minister said he'd be different, and he's right. He's even more expensive than Justin Trudeau was. He's doubling the deficit, racking up the federal debt, and blocking anything that would help bring food prices to come down. Liberal inflation is making food prices 75% over the bank's target. Why doesn't this Prime Minister just get out of the way so Conservatives can pass common sense legislation like the Canada Sovereignty Act and actually bring down the cost of groceries?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Mr. Speaker, in the last election, Canadians had a clear choice between a leader that has economic and business experience versus a leader that has none. We are focused on affordability for Canadians, cutting taxes for 22 million Canadians. We are cutting the consumer carbon tax. We are cutting the GST for first-time homebuyers. And we are going to build homes at a scale not seen since the Second World War. I ask the Conservatives to cut the rhetoric and get on board. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Calgary East.
In the last election, Canadians were duped by a guy that's committing economic vandalism. This finance minister said he would bring down the cost of groceries Thanksgiving 2023. It's almost Thanksgiving 2025, and the cost of groceries has skyrocketed. It's like the cost of living crisis that they created. Their solution to that is to spend even more than Trudeau did. Why doesn't this Prime Minister stop competing with Justin Trudeau for the most expensive Prime Minister in Canadian history and get out of the way so Conservatives can fix everything these guys broke?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Mr. Speaker, this last summer we crossed the country, went from coast to coast to coast, and the message from Canadians was resoundingly clear. They want us to spend less and invest more in national projects, invest more in building our country, bringing down interprovincial trade barriers, working together, Mr. Speaker. We have a plan to build the strongest economy in the G7. That is exactly what we're going to do. I ask the Conservatives to stop the rhetoric and get on board.
The Honourable Member for Haldimand Norfolk.
10 years of Liberal rule, and what do Canadians have to show for it? Soaring food prices, food insecurity, 4 million visits to food banks in Toronto alone last year. A quarter of Canadian households cannot afford to put food on the table. That is 40% higher than the year before. So, when will this Prime Minister stop obstructing Parliament and introduce a budget that lowers food prices?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
You know, Mr. Speaker, when Canadians are facing a hard time, they want a government that will invest in them. And today, as the Canadian Building Trades Unions visit us in Ottawa, celebrating the investments in major projects that are going to create great-paying jobs for tradespeople all across this country, with a government that's focused on making sure that we cut taxes for individuals, 22 million Canadians, when making sure that Canadians have what they need. Canadians chose well, and they chose this government, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Haldimand Norfolk.
Canadians want a government that will deal with this affordability crisis. This crisis happened on their watch. This Prime Minister promised Canadians that they could judge him by the price of groceries. Well, the numbers are in. Apples are up 14%. Potatoes are up 16%. Canned food is up 26%. When will this Prime Minister stop obstructing Parliament and introduce a budget that will bring back food affordability to Canada?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
Well, Mr. Speaker, Canadians are intelligent, and they knew better than to place their vote with the opposition, with Conservatives that were threatening, indeed voting against everything that was making their lives more affordable, whether it was a school food and nutrition program, whether it was the Canada Dental Care Plan, whether it was investment in seniors, increasing supports for seniors, whether it was investments in infrastructure, Mr. Speaker. Time and time again, Conservatives voted against these measures. Canadians saw with their eyes they could not count on Conservatives to protect them.
The Honourable Member for Parry Sound Muskoka.
After 10 years of Liberals, experts are now warning of up to 100,000 job losses in the housing sector by 2027. Builders are laying off their trained staff, even though the Prime Minister promised to double housing construction. Housing starts have stalled completely in the GTA and the Lower Mainland, where the housing crisis is the worst. In Ajax, housing starts are down 100%. Builders are praising our common sense plan to remove the GST on all homes under $1.3 million, saying it will restart home building. So why doesn't the Prime Minister want home builders building homes?
Good question.
The Honourable Minister for Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, to the member opposite, that's exactly why this government is committed to the most aggressive affordable housing program in our history. That's excellent. We need to focus on affordability. Canadians have spoken. Canadians have elected this government to deliver on affordability. With a tax cut, with a focus on affordable housing, we're seeing right out of the gate, Build Canada Homes focused on 4,000 homes in 6 cities across Canada, $1 billion into supportive housing, and 700 units of housing in Nunavut. We need to scale up. We expect their support.